We're going to go ahead and now solve a linear inequality that involves a least common denominator. So if you haven't seen my 1.7b, you might look at that before you look at this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at this inequality. It says 1/3 x minus 4 is less than or equal to 1/2 x plus 3. Well, I look at those fractions, and it would be fine to go ahead and use the addition-subtraction property of equality now to get the x's in one location. What I'm going to do is go ahead and make it easier on myself, and I'm going to clear the denominator, clear the fractions off completely. So I'm going to clear the fractions off completely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like everybody has a denominator, and I'm going to find the LCD for those, all of them. So that would be a 3, a 1, a 2, and a 1, and that actually, the least common denominator, or the least common multiple, would be a 6. So we're going to have a 6 for my LCD. So I'm going to multiply through both sides by 6/1. Now that's the distributive property in action there. So when I do that, and this term right here is going to give me a 2x. So it's really handy. It clears the fraction there. This one that times that one is just going to give me a 24, which doesn't bother me. It just makes it larger. Then 6 times 1/2 is 3, so that's going to create the 3x. And then here I have an 18. So as you can see, this really simplified things for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue to use the addition-subtraction property of equality to get my variables in one spot. Now, there we go. So we have a negative 24 less than or equal to an x, 1x, but I can just write x. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue with that addition-subtraction property. And here we go. So I have what? 42. It's negative. Okay, so now let's see. There's my solution, right? The solution's at an interval notation. Okay, so they want it in interval notation and graph it. I usually do the graphing before the interval. Okay, so I'm going to just say that here's my negative 42. We don't need to really put a whole lot of other numbers on it. So I have anything greater than or equal to 42. So I'm going to use a bracket, not a parentheses. That means I'm including the 42, and then greater than would be this way. Okay, so now for the interval notation, I use the same endpoint there, and I say, okay, 42, and then I use the same endpoint that I'm showing here, which is to infinity, and of course we never can include infinity because we never actually get to it, and so we're going to leave that as a parentheses. So there is my interval notation, there is my graph, and there's my solution. All right, hope this helped.